So for experiment 4, we'll be doing to learn the flow in pipe and the fittings. So for experiment part 4A, for this part, we will be doing the experiment on the friction loss in pipe. So for the first pipe, for pipe 1, we need to make sure that pipe V2 is open, V3 is open, and V6, need to make sure V6 also open. So we need to make sure V4, V5, V7, V8, valve 9, valve 10, valve 11 are closed. And then we need to remove the barometric tube and place it in P1 and P2. And always keep in mind that there shouldn't be any bubbles in the tube. So for example, we have a bubble here. So we need to remove the bubble by bubble is gone. Cool. Okay. And also make sure that there is no negative values here. If there is any negative values, you need to switch this thing. Next, we need to measure the flow rate. Sorry. So one person must record the time and needs to remove all the waters. And yeah. So we need to record the time on how long does it takes to fill up the measuring stator. That's for experiment part 4A. And next, for experiment part 4B, we're gonna do the experiment on the flow rate measurement. So this experiment will be applying the Bernoulli principle. So in this experiment, we'll have the orifice meter, the venturi meter, and also the pitot tube. And yeah, we can show you guys on the first experiment. So we need to make sure in this experiment that valve 2, valve 3 and valve 10, 11 are open. So 2 is open, 3 is open, 10 is open. So to make sure it's open or not, you need to turn it anti-clockwise. And 11 is also open. Okay, V4, V5, V6, 7, 8, 9 must be closed. So they are closed. And then we need to remove the barometric tube from 24, from the previous place to 24 and 25. So now we are placing it in the orifice meter. And then, so after you've done this, you're going to go and measure the... Just before that, you need to make sure there is no negative value, there is no bubbles. So now you can proceed to measure the flow rate. Samai?
Just the water flow.
So to adjust the water flow, you need to adjust the V1. So next for experiment 4C, we're going to do the experiment on the friction loss in valves and fittings. So for this part, it's very long. So we will show you guys on the first from the first experiment. So to operate 8, we're going to open V2, V3 and V9. V2 is open, V3 is open, V9 is open. So now you can hear the waters are flowing already. And then so now next, you need to make sure valve 4 until valve 11 must be closed. So are they all closed? All of them are closed. Now we need to remove the barometric tube from the previous place to 12 and 13. make sure, see for example that now there is negative value, so you need to, it's back to positive, so you need to wait it, so you need to wait to get it stabilized. Now we can measure the flow rate. So next for experiment 4D, we're going to do the experiment to learn on the coefficient of contraction and coefficient of expansion. This is the shortest of all the experiments. So we will show you guys on the first how to operate 5. So to operate 5, we need to make sure V2, V3 and V7 are closed, open. V2 is open, V3 is open and V7 is open. And V4 to 11 must be closed. So we have already closed the rest. Now we need to remove the barometric tube from the previous place to 3 and 4. So there is bubble, so we need to remove the bubble. So then we wait for that thing to get stabilized. This one shows your pressure. So now it's already stabilized and we can proceed to measure the flow rate. That's all for experiment 4.